Welcome to all of you. Today I will spend some time to explain the approach to the CA examination. Of course, a subject which any CA aspirant feels like listening, and also it is a general human nature also that before we do something we would like to know what is the path of it. Better we understand the path, better we take away all the apprehensions we have about, then let us start the travel. Yes, this is all something like when the association gets a start, naturally there will be a memorandum of understanding. What that memorandum of understanding will have is how we are going about, what is our objective, and in that process what we are going to do. Of course, it's not something we preach to you that this is the only way by which you can become a chartered accountant, but all these thoughts which I am going to put before are all the one which the toppers, the resource persons, the faculty of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India at different levels expressed that this could be the possible things wherein if there is a sort of improvement for the student, definitely there is nothing like come again program. CA becomes certainly achievable task. Let us first get into what different aspects we are going to discuss upon. First thing is essential qualities of a CA student, then do's and do nots, what you need to do and what you are not supposed to, then what are the common reasons for the failure on the CA exam, then we go about with how one should get out of a failure, then what are the tips. Again and again, friends, let me tell you, this is not a original thought. Undoubtedly, it's a copied thought only, but I feel personally there's a meaning in all this. And then, how do you start your preparation? Of course, most of the faces appears to be here are all the first time goers to the exam, but other way around, CA is a professional examination. Till such time institute say that you passed a particular group or a particular phase of it, continuity of preparation is most important. On that issue also we will try to elaborate on the points. Now to start with, who is a CA student and what should be his qualities? Of course, I am not going to tell you 20-30 qualities, only few of the qualities which a CA student, essential qualities which a CA student should have. First aspect of it is a continuity of studies. This is the most important thing for the student to become chartered accountant. See, why we are stressing on this particular thing is, all of you are not new to the studies, maybe new to the CA course, or the pattern in which this examination goes, like those who passed the CPT and coming for the PCC and the final, already you tasted the success, but how it is significantly different from your entry level examination. It is something like, this is a subject test, that is an objective way of testing your knowledge. So continuity of the studies is the most important thing. Like when we are pursuing our school level examination, for a school level examination, or the 10+2 examination or degree examination, generally we will not study right from the day one. It's not that we don't study, but depending upon our mood, we will study for one day 10 hours, the next 2-3 days we may not study. But that should not be the case with the CA course. And one more important aspect here is, like, the age at which you are doing this particular course, definitely that age demands, apart from the studies, some other aspects of it. Like few of you are having few responsibilities also, personal responsibilities, which are also to be well taken care by you. But a balancing act should be there, and at the day end, you should be able to assess what today I did towards that target of becoming chartered accountant, and there should not be a cry at the end when you look at the result. Rather, there should be an evaluation process that should happen at the everyday end. That's what when we exactly say the continuity of studies is the most essential thing for you to become a chartered accountant. If not 10 hours, at least daily 2 hours, there should be a self-study program to achieve the targets. Then the second essential quality which a CA student should have, patient and careful listening, which is another important essential. See, not only to become a chartered accountant, first of all we should become human beings. I always say to the students that you are becoming professional or not is a different issue. First, try to be a human being. This is not only a quality of a CA student. For you to transform into a human being, the most essential characteristic feature that you should slowly try to develop within yourself is the patience. Because we are all into the service sector. Service sector demands a lot of patience. And also first try to understand what others are saying before you come out with your novel ideas, with your opinions and all. Better first have a attitude of a careful listening of the other person, so that half the solution will always be there. So CA student requires a quality of a patient and a careful listening aspect of it. And then sharing of knowledge. Yes. Sharing of knowledge. What do this exactly mean? See, to come up in the life, most important thing is the sharing. What we can share, so that common benefit we get. See, in a CA course, you are all attending the practical training with a chartered accountant. Naturally, you will have 3 or 4 friends at your firm level and 10 to 15 friends at a coaching center level. First, you acquire the knowledge, then try to share with somebody. This really helps us in a big way when we go to the exam. In my own personal case, let me share with you, most of the subjects which I discussed with my friends, those points remained permanently in my mind and they helped a lot in the exam. Because if you want to share something to somebody, naturally first you will try to be perfect for yourself. Then only you will try to share with somebody. So in a mood to explain to somebody a particular concept, our own style of studies will definitely get improved and that helps a lot. So don't try to keep the knowledge with yourself, try to have some group discussion and also try to have some common studies and try to take the guidance from your seniors, try to share that knowledge with your juniors, which helps you a lot. Then the next issue is solving the practical problems. What exactly this is? It is my own observation while I am preparing for my exams as well as a faculty. I saw many students who are going for the professional examination generally do a mistake. What kind of mistake it is today you have got n number of books on all the practical subjects. Problem is there, solution is also immediately following. So few of the students, what they do is like they look at the problem and then try to correlate the same with the solution and they feel that yes, they studied and well understood. Friends, try to understand, after you cross 18 years, the problem is not with the understanding. The problem is with respect to the memory. This is the major issue. When you look at the solution and then try to see the problem and all, it all appears to you that everything is going into your mind. But ultimately in the examination, you are supposed to work it out. So unless you work it out, it's not possible for you to come up in solving that particular problem in the exam. When we look at the whole solutions for all the problems which you have, naturally what feeling you are in is, my preparation is over. Then the second time, third time revision also, without putting the pen on the paper, you are trying to look at the solutions and then the problems, and then you feel that you completed your preparation and finally when you sit in the exam, you are not able to solve it. It is something just like this. I don't know how to drive a car. My friend knows how to drive a car. Then I am sitting by the side of him and traveled with him for about 50 kilometers. Then I thought that now I can also drive the car. Is it possible? Unless I start driving, I will not be able to know what is the difficult part of it, what each situation demands. The biggest reason for failure even after attending the coaching classes is a lack of practice. Unless you start practicing it, you will not be able to exactly understand how to start a particular problem. So in that context, try to solve the problems and don't read the problems. And then preparing own notes for the theory. Yes, this also really matters. In the sense, today you have got n number of coaching centers, n number of textbooks, n number of guides also, let me tell you. Exactly, the word textbook really speaks something, but what we have today in the market, I cannot say that it's a textbook, it is a guide. But whether it is your own study material issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India or a guide otherwise or a notes given by an expert faculty of your place, These all are only supplements to your own effort of preparing your own notes. Try to understand handwritten notes, it is easy to memorize than a printed textbook or a printed guide or a printed material. Moreover, in the process of making the synopsis, you are reading once, writing once, naturally that helps you to have 2 times reading is the point. Without preparing one's own notes, it would be very difficult at the stage of revision. Revision becomes a tougher task. See, ultimately, let me again and again stress upon the same point that there is no problem in understanding after you cross 18 years. All our effort is only towards how do we memorize the things. Most of the students who appeared for the exam also say that what all there in the study material and the previous semester answers, only in a different format with the different figures which appeared in the exam, but we are not in a position to complete the paper for the simple reason that number of revisions are not made. So most important thing is, whether it's a practical problem or theory, you need to write. That writing habit one should have to become a chartered accountant. Then periodic revision, this is also most important thing. Few of my students who are preparing for the CA exam, let us suppose a subject like audit, when they start preparing, they go on writing the notes and they will write like that for all the 21 topics by the time exams will come. What is the fun in preparing a notes which you are not in a position to revise? It's not something that you completely prepare your notes and then start revising. You prepared for 2 topics, periodically make a revision of that particular notes. That periodic revision itself will tell you how you can improve in the topics to come. See, why you are supposed to write the practice tests before you write the main exam? Why you need to write the practice test? So that the practice test will tell you where exactly the problem is. Why you are supposed to read your own solution set? So that you will be able to understand what exactly the mistakes that you are doing. Compare your solutions with the suggested solution so that you yourself can understand where you are doing a mistake. Writing practices is also most important thing. Then we move to the important ingredients in preparation. First thing is the study material. First you should select your study material, because this is one common and a general mistake that CA students will do. They start preparing with one textbook or the guide. Meantime, a friend of them will come and say that I brought a very good notes from an expert faculty from Bombay. Then we will leave this book and start reading that. Meantime, some other friend will come and say that one need to prepare from the study material to pass. Other way around, you will be missing so many things. And meantime, some other textbook will come. Like that, if you go on referring the different notes and different study materials, then ultimately you will end up nowhere. First, select your study material, which is most important thing. See, if you ask any successful CA student, he will say that first most important thing is a thorough study of the CA institute material is most important for one and all. And then what is most important thing is you have to make an analysis of a thorough analysis of the syllabus, and then you have to have a in-depth knowledge of that particular subject. So most important thing is the study material, and any faculty notes or any textbook or the guide which is available in the market, can only supplement it and cannot substitute it. So, coverage should also be again limited to what is there in the study material. That is the reason why you should never leave your study material. Only where you are not in a position to follow that study material, try to shift yourself from study material and refer that particular matter in the teacher's notes or the textbook or the guides. And again come back to the study material, because first and foremost thing that you need to do is completely cover the study material. That is most important thing. Then you have suggested answers given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Some student was saying that, sir, all the suggested answers are already there in a standard textbook written by an expert faculty. Yes. Then what is the need to purchase the suggested answer as such? Let me tell you, any faculty who write the textbook naturally will try to put his own ideas also into it. But the suggested answer which is given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that suggested answer gets prepared by a team of experts. Naturally, we expect you to follow the methodology which is prescribed in the suggested answer. It is not that we are saying it is a rigid rule that unless you are able to present in the same way what it is there in the suggested answer, only you will get the marks. But the easiest way and a better way of doing it is understanding how the solutions are being prepared in the suggested answers. So, your textbook which is available in the market is not going to substitute your suggested answers. Moreover, the most important part with the suggested answer is that at the end of the suggested answer you got examiner's review points, so that you can just have a reference of that particular examiner review points and you can understand what generally the mistakes that are being committed by the earlier students who wrote that particular exam, so that you can avoid such mistakes. One has to learn from one's own mistake, but better is learning from others' mistakes. Don't repeat what others did. So that and all that knowledge comes only when you got suggested answer given by the ICAI only. And then the examiner comments, already I explained this. Then we got past 10 years examination papers. Analysis is to be done. Friends, try to understand, we got a book called as a scanner. What exactly does a scanner do? Scanner will have topic wise what are all the questions which are tested in the past 10 years or 15 years. That really helps us in what way? Before we start a particular topic, we would like to know what are all the areas to be well versed. That overall view will come only when you open that particular topic in the scanner and just go through the questions, then open your study material, then you will be able to highlight those points where examiner tested the concepts. So, you should be able to make best use of the scanner that is available. Then we have the time management and revision. This is also another important aspect. Regular revision of the notes made while studying. Already earlier also we discussed upon this issue. Going on writing notes also will not help you out. Revise the notes what you are preparing. Then it will help you to improvise your notes preparation for the future topics. And one more important thing is, even in the examination hall also, after you complete your solution, just spare 2 minutes to look at how you prepared your solution. then and there itself you can correct it. What are the reasons for the failure? Before we look into how to succeed, better we look into the reasons for the failure. First and foremost important thing, friends, try to understand, many of the CA pursuing students and their parents have got a misconception that CA is something which requires lot of intelligence. That is the reason why many of the students will fail, and the institute pass percentage is only 16% or 20%. But in reality, let me tell you, that is not the case. Let me tell you, out of the 100 students who are appearing for the exam, seriously, not more than 20 students are preparing in the way a professional student is expected to prepare. Out of those 20, we are passing 16 students. That means institute pass percentage is what? Institute's pass percentage is not 20%, it is 80%. Because don't count the numbers, all who came to the exam, all who applied for the exam. Who are really preparing? Only 20 students out of the 100 really prepares in the way in which a professional student is supposed to prepare, by having a regular study, revision notes preparation, and then writing the practice tests. With all this, how many students are coming to the examination? After all, 20 students will come, and out of the 20, 16 will be passing. The most important reason for failure is inadequate preparation, and consequent inadequate knowledge leads to the failure. There is nothing like you cannot pass. Don't cry when you fail. Try to understand there is something to prepare. You complete your preparation. You make 2 revisions. Nobody can stop you. But without all the topics being studied, without your writing your own notes, without writing the practice tests, if you feel that you need to pass, virtually it is not possible. The most important thing is, first you complete your preparation, then go for the revision. You will never fail. Then lack of understanding of the requirements of each paper of the CA exam. This is also most important thing. CA is a peculiar examination, friends, compared to all other professional examinations or all other regular university examination. This is an examination where you need to get 40 in each paper and 50% aggregates. A student will come to me with a marks sheet. He got 160 and failed. Requirement is only to get 150, but he got 160 and still failed. How is it? He got 58 in one paper, 59 in another paper, and then 25-30 marks in the third paper. It's not that he is not fit to become a professional, but still we are asking him to come again and write once more the exam. Because for a professional, what is most important thing is equal concentration on all aspects. He should not have any favorite subjects and subjects which he dislike. On all subjects you should have equal concentration. And let me tell you, some student who got 58 in accounts and 59 in audit is getting in corporate laws 28. What could be the reason? What could be the reason is he understood well what is the requirement of the advanced accounts paper, what are the requirements of the auditing paper. He could not understand the requirements of the corporate laws paper. Better he understand that requirement also and come again. Then we will allow you to become professional. So most important thing is, before you start any subject in CA, first understand the requirements. To elaborate on this particular issue, let me tell you, let us suppose it's an advanced accounts paper. Students go on practicing the problems, but without looking at what exactly the paper demands. Advanced accounts paper got 20 marks theory, and that theory comes from the accounting standards and the company accounts and the bank, insurance and electricity. And you don't prepare for the theory and go to the exam and write the answers which are not exactly required, naturally you are losing the 20 marks. And the difference between passing and failing is what? 150 is pass, 149 is fail. And most of the students who prepared and fail will fail not with a huge margin, it's only 140. Even if you don't prepare and go to the exam with your BCom knowledge also, let me tell you, getting 120 marks is not a very tough task. Because what we are testing in the CA exam is something which you studied in your BCom. So what is most important thing is, first you try to analyze each paper. Let us suppose audit paper. Why the students are failing? Because they are generally preparing, they are not preparing according to what the paper demands. Paper demands expressing your opinion, and those opinions should be written with the help of the accounting standards, audit assurance standards and the company law provisions with respect to the appointment, powers, duties of the auditors. If you don't stress on those important aspects, naturally failure awaits. Presentation is also most important thing. So most important thing that you should understand is, first you understand the paper requirement. Each paper has got unique requirements. Without understanding those requirements, you are preparing leads you to the failure. Then failure to revise. Of course, on this point we have discussed a lot. And then resorting to only 2.5 months preparation after the results. Yes, this is not something for the beginners. See, out of the 100 students who appear the CA exam, fortunates who clear in the first attempt both the groups will be only maximum 10. Remaining 90 will need to write the exam again. Even in the second attempt, why the students will fail? See, just recently the exams got concluded. You wrote your exams. You are confident that you are going to pass. You left the books and the results came sometime in the January 31st. Surprisingly, you are finding the result as failed with 145 marks in one group, 144 marks in the another group. That means you missed the train with 9 marks. Now the problem is, you left your books for 3 months. Again you need to write your exam, and you get into some sort of a depressing feeling because this is the first time you are facing a failure in your life, because till degree never you faced any failure. Naturally it will take some time, 10 to 15 days to come out of that particular this thing, and moreover the people around you who used you thoroughly either by compulsion or by emotion now will brand you that you lost the interest in the studies, because it's a normal human tendency that if somebody gets success, there are so many takers for it. If somebody gets the failure, there are no takers for somebody's failure. There was a saying also that there will be so many fathers for the success, but failure is always an orphan. That's the reason why to become chartered accountant, one should have an element of selfishness also. When I say selfishness, it's not that you deceive somebody. Selfishness to what extent? Not to allow somebody to kill your time. Because ultimately what matters is not what you prepared for your family. Ultimately what matters for your family is, are you succeeding or not? So try to be aware of friendly enemies. They could be in the form of our friends, they could be in the form of our parents, who don't understand that this is a professional examination and the student should not be disturbed, should not be diverted and all. Your own cell phone, your television sets, these are all really the items which makes you to be away from your life ambition of becoming a chartered accountant. These are all the real time killers. Try to be aware of it. It's not that you should be away from it, be aware of it. Then that after 15 days of depression, again the student will aim at writing the both exams, both groups, and then with a half-hearted preparation and incomplete preparation, again once more the failure comes. This is what I mean when I say a vicious circle. Don't enter into vicious circle. First attempt is the best attempt. You get 18 months to prepare and finish off your exam. Once you miss that game, every time 3 months institute effort, 3 months your efforts. What I mean is, you will write the exam and don't read for 3 months. Institute will value your papers, and for declaring the results it takes 3 months. Again you are preparing for the 3 months. So don't get into that particular vicious circle. Start the preparation at the earliest. The next moment you complete your exams, again start preparing, and before your results come, have at least 2 revisions. Then nobody can stop. Even if this time you are going for a failure, next time you will come up with a positive result. But not continuing with the studies definitely leads to one more failure also. And then you have selective study. This is also a dangerous phenomenon. See, most of the students will come to me and say that, sir, what are the important areas to concentrate? Yes, as a faculty to the institute and to the CA students, I do also suggest to the students, these are the important areas which you need to stress. But just by reading that, can you pass? Impossible. First you need to have a comprehensive idea about all the concepts, then the question of selective study comes. We are not saying that you should not go for the selective study, but selective study after you completely study and well understand all the concepts. So most of the students, what they do is, they take all the important questions from the resource persons and the expert faculties of the respective cities, and then try to read them, and then they also feel that, because it's my experience that some of the students will come, sir, many of the things which you gave as a list of important things we got in the exam. Yes, you got in the exam, but whether you are able to write the answer for it, that is most important thing. It's not possible. So don't resort to any selective study, have the entire study, because the selective study we got used right from the childhood. 10th class exam, teacher will tell what are the important questions, and at the end they will also tell very important questions also. In that from the very important questions you get definitely 80% of the paper. See, in graduation some of the students got 85%, but still they are failures in the CA exam, because getting 85% in a graduation examination is not a very tough task, because if you just go through the 10 examinations and read all those questions, again the 11th exam which you are writing definitely will have all the questions from the past papers only. But that's not the case with the CA course. I am not saying that repetition will not be there in the CA exam. Repetition will be there in the CA exam, but in a practical questions, the same questions with the same figures appearing will never happen. Concepts now got exhausted, but figures are not still, and they will not also. Theory questions, yes, in few of the conventional subjects like advanced auditing and costing and financial management and information technology, yes, questions got exhausted. Now one can resort to the reading of all the 20 examination questions, and probability of passing is there. But that is also not a suggestive mechanism for becoming a chartered accountant. First you need to have a clear understanding of all the concepts, and then not writing any practice test before the main examination. Yes, if somebody asks me, is the 10th class examination is difficult or CA examination is difficult, I will always say that 10th exam is more difficult than CA exam. How come? Because in 10th class, 11 examinations you are writing at a stroke. Never you will say that I will write 6 papers in the May and 5 papers in the September. Whereas once it comes to the point of the CA, you have got an option. People start with a vision to go for both groups, and they will say just 2 months before the exam that I will write only one group. And finally that student will come to me and say that, sir, I am trying for an exemption rather than passing the full group. What is it? Why this happens? See, how come 10th class examination is a difficult exam? Because the age at which you are writing that exam and the number of papers that you need to write definitely is more when compared to the what you are doing in the CA. Moreover, in the present situation where every exam there is a 1-day gap, definitely this becomes much more easier examination than the 10th class exam. But then why the students feel that CA exam is difficult? What makes the difference? Nobody says 10th class exam is difficult, but many of them says that CA exam is difficult. What is the reason? The reason is, in 10th class exam, what will happen right from the day you completed your 9th class examinations, your parents, relatives, everybody will be saying that this is the board examination. So naturally, you will be sent for some tuition in the summer also. Moreover, when you go to your school, unit tests will be there, assignments will be there, quarterly, half yearly, pre-final. With all this, what happened? Syllabus got revised a number of times. You also got used to the practice tests. So your main examination automatically becomes an easier task. Whereas once it comes to the point of the CA, what will happen? After one join in CA, after 6-7 months, there are students whom I know still not opened the textbooks given by the ICAI. Of course, every human being will have a reason for not doing something. Try to understand. After you cross 18 years, never you will accept that you committed a mistake. You will always say that this is the reason why I am not in a position to do that. But that justification will not help you out. I am trying to put what significantly it makes the difference between the 10th class exam and CA exam. Start the preparation right from the beginning. You are there to the institute, submitted your 102, 103, got your study material. You are not getting any motivation to open the book. Are you fit for the exam? Are you fit to be called as a student? First, open the study material. What is there in it? You just see. When I asked few of my students, why you are doing like this? Sir, even if we open our textbooks, we will not be able to study. Better we start going to some coaching center, then let the teacher explain, then we will open the book. But to try to understand, yes, you did in the same way in the 10th class. But this is something a professional examination. Friends, although we are running a coaching center, personally I am of a view that taking coaching for all the 6 subjects will never make anybody to be a professional. Yes, I am not saying that you should not take the coaching. But first, you open the book, you try to read it out, you try to understand what is the difficulty in the subject, then go to the faculty. That is what the professional approach, whether it is PCC or the final. Any subject without you are applying your brain, going to a teacher is a useless exercise. Much more useless thing that students will commit is, they will start attending the coaching center and they will give a standard instruction to their mind that let the teacher complete the syllabus, then I will start reading. This is a much more crime that you are doing. See, first crime is without preparing coming to the classes is a crime. Second heinous crime that you are doing on yourself is waiting for the teacher to complete the syllabus and then want to start preparing. You are wasting your time, you are wasting your money, and you are going away from your target. What I am trying to tell you is, coming to the coaching class will not automatically ensure anybody to pass. Coming to the coaching center for a professional course like this is for what? For a professional course like this is only to have a continuity of studies. By sitting in the house, it is not possible to have a continuity of the studies, so you are coming to the coaching center. Yes, some of the concepts on your own, if you are trying, they may take 6 hours, but by coming to a teacher, that concept may come within 2 hours. But for that, there is no magic stick in the hand of any faculty to make anybody to be a successful chartered accountant. See, try to understand, if somebody says that because of us, somebody got the rank, it's not correct. Because of any teacher, please remember, nobody gets any rank. What teacher can do? He can make you to get into some discipline. He can make you to have some continuity. He can clarify your doubts. But getting the rank depends upon your own effort of how many number of revisions that you are making, how well you understood the concepts, how many practice tests that you write, how you presented yourself in the examination through your answer sheet and all. This comes with one's own effort. That's the reason why we always say that 10% is our effort, 90% is of the student's efforts. Then practice test is the most important. If you don't write, that is the one reason for the failure. Then concentrating more on the practical subjects and neglecting the theory papers. This is something which we were doing for quite long time, because while preparing for the 10+2 exams or the degree exams, our concentrations will be more on the practical subjects and we neglect the theory. But you cannot do that with a professional examination like CA, equal concentration should be on all. And in my personal opinion, the more concentration should be on something which you don't like. Generally, the point is love at first sight, but with CA what happens and what should happen is what you hate at first sight, you should start loving it. What is the difficult subject, you start preparing for that. Any subject on which you have got interest and which is easy for you, you can do at any point of time. But don't try to postpone the subjects on which you don't have the conceptual clarity. Better you attend a coaching center and take the help of the faculty and try to get out of the difficulty and start loving that subject which is most difficult for you. And then ignoring the latest amendments in the income tax and corporate laws. These two papers, every year there will be changes brought in by the respective acts. In case of the income tax through the Finance Act, all those latest amendments you should be well versed, because in the income tax paper and corporate laws paper, 30% of the paper will be tested from the latest amendments. So all those questions which will have implications with the amendments brought by the respective Finance Acts naturally need to be well concentrated. And then ignoring the sections and case laws and audit assurance standards in case of the audit paper and accounting standards in case of the accounts paper. Friends, try to understand. Many a time students will come and ask us, sir, is it required that we should write all the sections in the income tax paper and the corporate laws paper? Try to understand, we are not saying that you should by heart all the sections, but there are some sections which are repeatedly tested in the exam, which are important subject wise also, which are being inserted or amended by the respective amendment acts. These need to be well concentrated. But friends, try to understand, writing the correct section number will improve your marks, but writing a wrong section will lead to much more damage. Unless you are double sure of the section number, don't try to quote the section number, you just write as per the provisions of Income Tax Act or as per the provisions of the Companies Act and all. But for all the things you cannot also do that. So for few important sections you try to remember and try to understand. Whenever you are feeling something difficult, only one feeling in you which makes you to feel a difficult thing also as easy is, it's not I am alone made to or put to this difficulty. All the people who are writing the exam are with the same difficulty. Try to find out a way out how to remember that particular sections and case laws. And then neglecting the theory portions in the subjects like account, costing and taxation. But friends, try to understand, CA examination at the PCC level, it's only practical part is only 140 marks out of the 600 marks. Remaining 350 is the theory portion only, whether it's audit paper or corporate laws paper or your information technology. And then your costing and FM paper also got 40 marks, 35 to 40 marks theory. Your accounts paper got 20 marks of the theory. So if one want to neglect the theory on a pretext that even if I read now I will forget, so I will postpone the things till the end and then prepare well in the end so that I can remember, and all that is not a correct approach. You have to equally concentrate. See, try to understand, generally a feeling which will be there right from the first class to the CA is that always a student will have a feeling that what all I studied will I be able to remember and reproduce the same in the exam. Friends, try to understand, you are doing it for past 13 years. Why you will not be able to do it in the CA exam? So first take away that feeling that will I be able to remember and reproduce? To do that, first you have to write them. Then that gets stored in your mind. What gets stored in the mind can be retrieved. See, your mind is 100 times more powerful than your computer. When your computer is able to retrieve some data which you stored 7 years back, why your mind will not be able to retrieve something which you read 5 months back? Only reason is, in case of the computer, the path you are writing clearly, in which folder, in which file, in which format you stored it. You know that very well. Naturally, once you go through that particular path, the retrieval happens. Why it is not happening with the mind is, when we store something, we don't give the path. See, I am there to a waterfall in Warangal. Even after 10 years, if somebody asks, how is that trip to the Laknavaram? I can narrate that trip right from the moment we started from Padma Plaza to Laknavaram and back from Laknavaram to Hyderabad. What all that we did, even after 10 years, I will be able to recollect and tell. That's the reason why you just find the elderly persons, if they are there in your family, they will tell, in 1970 it happened like this, 1975 it happened like this. How they are able to remember? Because at the time when they are storing, a lot of interest is there. You go to a movie, you can reproduce the entire story, if not what you call slide by slide or moment to moment, at least overall. But that is not the case. You listen for 2 hours, after 3 days you don't remember anything. Because at the time when you are coming and entering into the class, you are not giving an instruction that you should store this. First give the instruction to your mind that this is to be stored. Don't give an instruction that let Chakravarthy tell. Then afterwards, after 4 or 5 months, I will read. Some student was coming yesterday and he says, sir, first I will attend all the 6 subjects of you. Let me prepare the notes, what you are giving. Then after 6 months, I will start my own preparation. I only looked at him as my debtor. He got indebted to me some time back. Now he is coming and repaying that indebtedness, and these classes will not be of any use to him. He is only wasting 6 months by coming here. Because what should happen, again and again I am saying, you should have some time to read for yourself. Don't attend all the 6 subjects. Then where is the time for you to read for yourself? Only attend those subjects where the difficulty is there. Then inadequate practice of solving the practical questions. Of course, this also I elaborated a lot. Then not writing a detailed working notes. This is also most important reason. As a paper valuers also we are looking at that the working notes given by the majority of the students is not up to the mark. What is this working notes and what is the relevance of the working notes from the CA examination point of view? Let me tell you, you are all going to become professionals, you are all going to occupy important positions in the corporates. Naturally, you need to send some information to your subordinates and you need to take some information from your subordinates and pass it on to the what you call your higher ups in the form of reports and all. How you will be able to do it? Unless you have a practice of preparing the working notes. That's the reason why we insist more on your abilities to prepare the working notes. Even in the practical training part also, let me tell you, whenever you are doing the audit, all what you observed, observations must be clearly written. Only then your chartered accountant will be able to prepare a report from such observations.